Okay, welcome. I'm Andy Lee Graham, and I've lived in 115 countries, and I've been doing this for 26 plus years. I don't have a home inside the United States. Today I'm reporting from Jerusalem, Israel. Jerusalem, Israel. It's the 18th of December 2024, and right now Syria just kind of had a coup. And Hezbollah is kind of weakened in Lebanon and Gaza Strip. I don't know really what's happening there. They're sort of bombing the Houthis or something in Yemen. But today I want to make a video about the first 10 things that I do. The first 10 things that I do when I arrive in almost any city. It changes, and you really don't want to lock into any kind of strategy. A strategy is something that adapts, and I'm very good at strategies. But the first 10 things that I do in every city. But I'll tell you what's happening so far today, because a lot of you want to know what happens in my daily thing. I woke up out of the hostel. I mean, it's cold. It was 48 degrees at 7 a.m. this morning. And so I'm walking. I get on the train here. And I'm nervous because I don't know if my card actually, my RAVKAV, RAVKAV card, it's unlimited, it says, but does it work on the trains? A tram, is that the train? Whatever. But I got on the thing, and almost nobody checks their card anyway. Nobody beeps their card and does this little thing where you think. But I went up to Mahana Yehuda Market Street. It's a street. It's not a market. It's the name of the street. And I walked around looking for my one woman to open up. She didn't open up, but she's selling these bottles that I gave away four glass bottles yesterday, because one of the great things about living in a hostel is Rob and Aaron and Jacob, are maybe this British girl, not sure of her name, are going to the Jordan River today. Okay, but first, I didn't go with them. I was going to go with them until they said they were going up to Tiberias, which is up by the Sea of Galilee. Then they're going to go to the Sermon on the Mount, is the Mount of Beatitudes or something like that. And then they were coming back. Then they're going over to, they're going to actually try to get it in the Jordan River and get baptized, I guess. But I gave up four of my little bottles I got yesterday. And they're just little bottles, and they sealed up. I tested them for water. And I was trying to buy some more of them today because I gave four of them, but I did ask them to fill up one for me. But I really want to go to this. And this is a benefit. See, if you're in a hostel, normally there's a traveler's huddle, and there's people that you can talk to that you can hook up with, and they kind of all together as a group have the synergy of figuring out the trips thing. And then you have companionship, especially if you're a single person. And they don't really care how old you are. Here in Israel, it seems like most people are over 40, though. Okay, so the first day in the country. But then I went to that market. I couldn't find a lady. I'll go back later on the train. Coming back, I took my RAVKAV unlimited card. Cost me 233 shekels, about $64. And I tapped it on the thing, and it's in Hebrew, and I asked them, did it pay? And it said pay. So I could take this train. They're going to go by all the time. I'm at the Coffee Bean. And I just met Valeria Steele, a really high-talented woman from Israel. She actually is a Christian. I was amazed. And she said she didn't have to go to the army because she was a Christian. Benefits of being a Christian in a Jewish country. This country is defined as a Jewish country. So you're really, in a way, not part of the country unless you're Jewish in a lot of ways. I'm not going to say I understand any of that, but she didn't have to go to the service. She's about 23 years old. And so she's right at the age where, but so what do I do the first day in a city? There's kind of a different level here. There's a first day in country, first day thing. The first 10 days for me. Now, I know 99.9% of you are tourists and you only have 8 days in country. That's one reason why these guys were trying to go to Tiberias and Capernaum and Sea of Galilee in one day is because they're short. They don't have enough time to really evade. I'm going to go to 6 different specific locations. One thing I did find out that I can go to Reim Kibbutz or something like that. It's near Sideret or something like that, close to the Gaza Strip. That's where they attacked that music festival and killed a lot of people. Rob had been there, and he talked about some of the things that were there. He tried to help me to figure out how to get the bus. I'm having a lot of problems because I get on the bus going the wrong direction. But it's with an unlimited card. That's the train. So I don't have a train card, but I do have a tram card. They didn't text me, but the 2 men that were selling me the card in the Tel Aviv Ravkov office really didn't do it. But what do I do? What do you do the first day in country? And it's incredibly important that you, in my opinion, if you want to have a great vacation, you got to almost do a chakra moment. A chakra, what is that? Some sort of Ayurvedic thing? I don't know what it is. Probably Sanskrit or something. But the chakra is that glow around the body of somebody. But when I walk into so the first thing I do, I'm going to do this in order of what I do it, pretty much, is I walk into the hotel and I try to come in with a smile, say hello, how are you, whatever. And I want to get a feeling for the spirit, the energy of the receptionist. A lot of receptionists just say, go upstairs, blah, blah, blah. My particular Neely, she gave me, I was trying to get a capsule until I realized they don't have. One of the problems with the capsule in a hostel, this one doesn't seem to have any electricity in there, so I can't use my computer. So I switched to a dorm bed. I'm paying about, say $17 a night for the dorm bed, and it's got 2 plugs. It's got a small little curtain. I added to the curtain with my blanket, and I got some clothespins to close it up. I got a light that I carry. I always carry a light, and then I got a better setup in there. But there is a lot of music at night. So what I want to do, first of all, number one, is get a security feeling. I want to know, do I trust the people at the desk? Do I trust the people working at the hotel? And I can say, I trust the people working at the hotel. And this is 10 times more important than whether the hotel or the hostel or wherever, guest house, the place you're staying has the proper soap and whatever. What you want to know is that you're safe, because what you're doing is, no matter what you're doing when you're living in a hotel, you're exposed. It's very difficult to not be exposed. Like, I have a really nice locker, and I can put my computer in there, but she has a copy of the key, right? And I'm always laughing because the more people that work in a hotel, the more insecure you are. So if you're in a big hotel with 400 rooms and 100 employees, it's very unsafe, in my opinion, because that many, they can't watch everybody, and you can get away with theft. If the best hotel is really a mom and pop, mother and father with a couple kids, with the kids working on the internet all the time, so they always keep it running, and then like one worker, then you always know who's, the theft just goes down to about 0. But you want to get, number one, you want to get a feeling of the staff. Number 2, you want to get a business card. Okay, why do you want the business card? Because you're going to walk out into a maze of a city, and it can be sometimes very difficult to get back. Like here, everything is Hebrew. About 80% of the people speak only Hebrew, but they can read it. And you got to have somehow where you can show them a card. They don't like to look at a smartphone. That's really way too awkward. There's nothing beneficial about a smartphone, but they didn't have business cards, so I'm just sort of living, right? But here comes the train again. The number 3 is a link on Google Maps, and this is something new here that I don't know, maybe I've been doing it, I don't know how many years I've been doing it, but I take a link on Google Maps, and I send it to my email address, and then I or I put it in a Google Docs, or I put it in my Google Keep. Google Keep is my first place to look because Google Keep works without internet. Okay, and so the first 10 days in country, which I first spent my first 7 days in Tel Aviv, I didn't have internet, right? So the Google Maps, but the Google Maps, if you download them, will work. They actually do work without a connection, but you have to download the specific region or whatever. And but it's better with the connection. But you want that link somewhere on your phone. So I keep it in Google Keep. I can keep it in Google Docs. I sometimes send myself emails. And so one way or the other, I whatever's convenient for you, you got to have a link, a Google Maps link that tells you how to get back to your hostel or your hotel or your guest house or whatever you live in, right? Or the worst possible place to live is really in an Airbnb because they're in neighborhoods and they're almost impossible to find. And they're not in the best locations, and they often don't tell you where the location, because the most valuable thing about a hostel or hotel or whatever is the same as any kind of real estate. Location, location, location. So Airbnb is to me one of the worst possible choices you can make because you're countermanding the idea of location, location, location. In the United States, with a car, that neuters that, right? So you can have a car and parking, whatever. Number 4 is I want to know where the transportation hubs are. I want to know where the bus stations are. I want to know where the train stations are. I want to know where the tram stations are, because I want to know how to escape. When I'm normally in Western Europe or Eastern Europe, I guess also, I will get off. I will book a ticket. Well, I'll get a train ticket to the next city or whatever, or bus ticket, and then I will get a hotel within like 1 mile of that bus station, and then to do the tourist stuff, I will walk maybe 2 or 3 miles into the city. But I want to stay around the hub of the tourist station. I did this all the way through Nicaragua and Normally it's really nice. You just get at a bus terminal, and the most economical hotels are close to bus terminals and things like that, because they're more or less business trip hotels and not tourist grade hotels. Tourist grade hotels are in the best possible tourist location, which in Europe, that's kind of horrible because they have these pedestrian walkways, and these pedestrian walkways can be, I don't know, gigantic, like 4 football fields, 5 football fields in size. And you have to walk all the way across it to even get to your hotel. There's no way to get there by taxi. And so Europe is very painful for walking. I don't know what the older people do. They really, in one way, I will always recommend some people with mobility problems. A tour is what negates that problem. They basically handle the thing. And I think if he's going to ask about a tour, you're going to ask him, how do you handle my baggage? I don't want to lift my baggage at all. Just tell them, I don't want to lift my baggage at all. Okay, because if they're making you carry your baggage, then I don't know. I don't even know why you'd be on a tour. Okay, so the Google Map link, a location next to the bus terminal, the train, whatever. I want to know where that is. Number 6, I want a landmark close to my hotel. Landmark of something. So I might call this, this is the Coffee Bean Coffee Shop, and it's right across. So there's this special little alcove here where you have chairs, like kind of a Frenchy thing. And so this is the Coffee Bean. So sometimes nobody will know where the hotel is or hostel is, but they'll know where something big like the Coffee Bean Coffee Shop, or I haven't got anything else really close to here, but I definitely could say the Jaffa train stop, or the Mahani Yehuda market, and that's like 4 blocks away. But if I got totally lost, say I go to Bethlehem or I go someplace 2 hours away and I come back, I gotta tell them a landmark. I don't want to tell them this hostel address. That is so difficult. Like, would you know in a city of, I don't know, 500,000 people or whatever there is here? It's millions probably. And would you know a specific street? But they will know like certain hotels, like the Waldorf, or you could be in New York City, you could say Wall Street, where's Wall Street? Or I want to get close to the Statue of Liberty. So you find some trade landmark that you can talk to the thing and not not have to use addresses. Addresses are just totally painful, and you really do want to be able to excuse me, sit there and ask people where this location is, and then that should be close to your hotel. So I want to find a landmark really quick. But when I'm establishing my traveler's nest, which is what I'm doing right now, my traveler's nest includes my coffee shop I go to. Like, I'm kind of becoming a regular at the Coffee Bean. This is out of my budget, guys. It's about $3 a coffee, and I'd really like to come here about 3 times a day. My whole food budget is $10, so anybody that wants to buy me a cup of coffee, I would sure appreciate it. But when I leave the hostel, I don't walk any jagged path. I walk straight away, and I walk straight back, and I start to get a familiarity of the area. So this particular location where I'm at, it's kind of like South Korea. In South Korea, I would never get away from the subway, which is really above ground, I guess. But this is a tram, and I can follow this tram track all the way to the east gate of the old city. So it's a very good mark, and I think it goes all the way to the bus station, the central bus station. So I'm getting some major landmarks, the central bus station, the Jaffa Center thing, the East Gate, and I'm collecting landmarks, right? Because what you want to do is have landmarks close to where you live so you feel comfortable. Okay, but I normally start by walking away with my business card in my pocket to the hotel, and then even if you don't speak the language, you can always show the business card and somebody will keep pointing you the way, right? Body language is 10 times more efficient sometimes than talking. And people talk way too much when they're they'll talk in full sentence. You should just say, East Gate. You don't want to say, I want to go to the East Gate, okay? You don't want all these extra words for somebody that don't speak English to try to understand. Number 8, and this is probably the most important thing that I try to do it, and I have it already, but the traveler huddle. And the traveler coffee clutch, the cheers level of, I mean, like when you walk into Cheers and everybody knows your name, that's what you want. So in my hostel right now, there's 7 people that I know: Marcella, Aaron, Rob, Neely, girl I don't know's name. Different people that I'm acquiring knowledge of. And I take notes. When I meet somebody, I take notes and I put a little memory cue next to it. And I put it in my Google Keep, and then I keep doing it. Like I just met Valeria Steele, 22-year-old talented woman here from Israel. She's a Christian at the Coffee Bean. And I wrote it down and I try to remember it because that's a term of endearment, right? And I really want people to realize that if you want to make the world a better place, make it holy. A holiness is a sense of harmony, and a harmony is the ability to say hello to people without fear. I was just watching this movie, and Jesus was walking on the water, and somebody got out of the boat to walk to him. Then he lost his nerve half the way there, and he fell in the water. And Jesus said, You didn't have trust. But you have to trust that people are safe. 95% of people are very, very safe. It's only about 5% that are really, but you can see them a mile away. They're dressed in black. They got a frown on their face. They got tattoos all over their nose. They're trouble. But the traveler's huddle. So what are the places I establish a traveler's huddle? Coffee shop. Coffee shop. Sometimes they're at bars. Sometimes there's just an area where people congregate. But in this is the reason, the number one reason to stay in mom and pop hotels where single travelers hang out, because you can find a huddle. And there's the hard part, like the traveler huddle at my hostel actually assembles at about, say, 5 o'clock at night in the hostel. Right, 4:30 is when the sun goes down, and then 6:30 is when it rises. But I haven't been able to find a traveler's huddle outside the hostel. But that's why you live in a hostel, because it's a built-in tour guide, and it's a better tour guide than you could ever get, because it's day in, day out, all day long. You can have people that can help you to find it. It'd be like a Pretty Woman in the concierge. The concierge was a person that knew everything. Normally, the people that work in hotels, the last thing they really want to do is talk to you. That's contrary. I actually started a hostel in Iquitos, Peru, and I hired these 3 girls that were studying English, and I said, your job is to talk to everybody. And they said, how long do I talk? I said, keep talking to them until they're wanting to go do something else. Walk around the hostel, talk to them. And he says, why? You're their tour guide, and you're their education. You're their home away from home. Because when you go at home, people talk to you, right? So when you walk in your house, they should talk to you. But there's different times for the traveler huddles, and the best ones are really about 7 a.m. in the morning, when you have a group of tourists, expats hanging around the city. I haven't really saw that, but I'm in a war-torn country, right? Not that anybody here is talking or worried or anything, thinking about the war. They're thinking about the train. Okay, so coffee bean. I gotta make sure that's in there. Coffee bean, send me money. Send me money, coffee bean. I used to do this all the time. I still do it on McDonald's. I just don't have anything I can eat there anymore with my heart situation. Okay. So the most important thing is, if you want to stay a long time, is try to find a coffee huddle. You got to find a group of people that you can meet on a regular basis, where you can exchange ideas and talk things over and dialogue. And that's the reason why, like on Sunday night at 9 p.m., we have like 4 people right now that are pretty regular on the Patreon group, and we got some guy in Philippines. But what happens is you really learn how to travel from indirect conversations, not by direct conversations. And so all the travel skills are sort of osmosis coming into you. So on Sunday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have a Zoom meeting for Patreon people. If you want to become a Patreon, the minimum's $5. And you got the wealth of knowledge and knowing a person that's lived as a traveler for 26 years and in 115 countries. That part is it's 4 a.m. in the morning. Okay, for me here in Israel. But that's okay. Number 9, open air markets. No, that's not going to work in the United States. Probably not going to work very good in Western Europe. But most of the world, about 85% of the world has markets. Like all of Africa, Central America, they all have markets where you can go. What is the value of an open air market? It's to save on food costs, because I can buy 1 banana, 1 beet, 1 cabbage. Like today I bought a cabbage at the supermarket, but, did I say that? Oh, shoot, I skipped one. Number 5 was supermarket. You got to become a regular at the supermarket. So I was talking to Rich the other day, and I said, hey, where's the supermarket where you're living in North Carolina? And he was vague about it. Okay, and I said, the first thing you want to know, in my opinion, to save money is where the supermarket is. Because if you're going to go eat at a restaurant all the time, your budget's triple of what it would be if, and the food is 10 times less healthy in a restaurant than it is in the supermarket. Supermarket, you can walk to the vegetable area, you can walk to the thing, you got to avoid the cookie area, right? But number 5 was you got to become a supermarket. Like today, I seen the same guy twice, and I bought a cabbage from him. Then I was polite, and he asked me if I wanted a bag, because they keep asking whether you want a bag. I said no, which makes him happy. And then I got a place I found in the Yehuda market where I bought some pecans from, and I for 10 shekels, 10 shekels, I got I get in a supermarket for 20 shekels. So I cut the price in half, and I'll be able to go to that market all the time with the train. It's about almost about a mile walk away, but it's a really nice market. But I really want to find open air markets, really, so that I can buy food in bulk as opposed in packages. Anything in a package is bad for you in a way. In a way, you should just look at it. The minute they put it in a plastic bag, they're putting preservatives and different chemicals, and they're probably going to add some sugar and all sorts of stuff. But things that are sold in bulk are healthy for you. Number 10, I instantly check what size time sunrise is and sunset. So sunrise here is about 6:30 in the morning a.m. and sunset, which is really early, is 4:30. So I don't really want to be out before sunrise or out after sunset that much. The most dangerous time of the day is probably about from 11 p.m. to midnight. Say midnight from 11 p.m. to 3 o'clock in the morning thing. So the alcoholics are all out roaming around, and they're emboldened oftentimes because of alcohol. It can be very dangerous if you go out before sunrise, and say 1 hour before sunrise, because the alcoholics are coming back from being drunk, and they can be an opportunist type problems. They get aggressive because of the drinking. But sunrise here. So you want to know what sunrise is, and all you got to do that is go, you go to Google and you talk into it. You got to learn how to voice type. You say sunrise, Orland, Indiana. Sunrise, Jerusalem, Israel. And then you got to do it enough until you get real familiar with the time. So I normally leave. When I go for any trip, I leave, so say 6:30, 30 minutes after sunrise is when I would be taken off. And this is when, to me, when the business travelers are traveling. It's actually pretty quiet. It's not a noisy. It seems quite overbearing, but it's pretty quiet. Ideal place to be. I think if I was going to say where the best hotel is, try to. In Jerusalem, try to get on the tram track, which is hard to find on the Google Maps and all that stuff. And then you want a hotel right close to one of the stops. And that would take you to the train will take you to all the bus stations. But if he was just outside the East Gate or the Damascus Gate, there's like 8 different gates around the old city. Then you could have transportation away from the old city, but you could walk into the old city where it's, as I see it, the old city seems to hold it. I lived on the other side, closer to the Wailing Wall last time, which I thought was a little, I don't know, seemed a little better in some ways, but that was in 2005. This is 2024. That's 14 years ago. Number 11, I'm just going to put on it. I'm always spending time about a half hour to 30 to an hour every day looking for my next hotel. I don't move countries. I don't move cities. I move hotels. I don't move countries. I don't move cities. I move from hotel to hotel. And I always try to have a backup hotel and then I try to leave at 30 minutes after sunrise, and I try to arrive there before noon. I was laughing. The hostel had a check-in at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Really an onerous, horrible time to check in. But it's in key with most tourists. They don't leave until 11 o'clock in the morning, and which is silliness, because if you get up, 30 minutes after sunrise, you're not right. You're before the rush hour. So the rush hour is really about 8:30 to 10 o'clock. And so when you leave at 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock, you're just basically going against the grain and right into the rush hour. And you got to optimize these things. Strategically think, just look what other tourists are doing, do something different. That's all you got to do. I'm Andy Lee Graham. I can sit in this place and the sun will come up. I'm actually being shaded. I'll show you. Well, you see these big umbrellas. I'm sitting behind one to shade me. Oh, I probably blinded you. But Send Money Coffee Bean, I think they're from California. I've met two people that actually referenced Venice Beach as if I would know all about Venice Beach. And I was like going, why would I know about Venice Beach? The Israelis seem to have all these targeted places that they go in the United States. So it's probably like Miami, Venice Beach. I don't know. I don't care much, but there's places where cultures go. It's like sometimes when I'm recommending how to buy plane tickets, see if you leave Spain and you go to a Spanish-speaking country, it's cheaper between two Spanish-speaking countries. If you go from a French-speaking country to a French colony, it's cheaper. When you leave from United States to England, it's more expensive. Doesn't work for the English language, but the cheapest place for the United States is probably Brussels, Frankfurt, Amsterdam. I would say I travel into Brussels the most. I actually have an onward ticket from here on December something, just after December. I can't tell the trolls when I'm leaving because they are very good at being trolls. I'm here and you're not, why not? I'm here and you're not, why not? I'll say that again. I'm here and you're not, why not? It's because I think strategically. So what I'm telling you today is a strategy on how to set up your traveler's nest. Now, I always feel bad when somebody's only got 7 days. And some of you, some of my $100 a month people, I would actually go on some vacations with you and help you to transition to another country if you wanted to go there and spend 2 or 3 months. Because I feel that if you're going to be a $100 a month person, after a certain point, I would like to reciprocate and help you to travel to another country. I can make the cost of entering a country probably the first 10 days. Instead of you spending $2,000, you'll spend $1,000. The amount of savings of me setting you up in a country is really going to cut the cost in half. I live better than the average person does always at half the price of what they pay. But I also don't have all the pain of being a traveler that's always in the wrong place at the wrong time. I'm always in the right location at the right situation and the right thing. It's location, location, location. And location, location, location is, there's 2 trains going by. Location, location, location. That's a joke in real estate. In real estate, there's the 3 most important things on the value of a real estate is number 1, location. Number 2, location. Number 3, location. But truly, the location is always determined by the transportation. So it's a coupling of the transportation with the location. So I would want, in tourist thing, the location is coupled up with the transportation, the buses, the trains, the trams, and the coffee shop, but most importantly, the supermarket. Because the supermarket's going to cut your food budget in half, and it's going to make you capable of eating healthier and not sitting down and finishing all your food at a restaurant and paying, I don't know, right now the difference between a supermarket and it's 5 times more expensive to eat in a restaurant than it is to eat in the thing. So when I pay $3 in a supermarket, I'm going to pay $15 in a restaurant for the same thing. Okay, I'm Andy Lee Graham. I'm here and you're not. Why not? Because I think strategically. I'm always plotting and planning. And a strategy is something you do. You try to figure out what everybody else is doing, and then you try to figure out an optimized way to do it better. And normally, following the herd is the wrong thing. I'll tell you why that's it. If the majority was correct, the majority would be rich. If the majority understood how to invest, the majority would be rich by investing. Okay, I'm Andy Lee Graham in Jerusalem, December 18th, 2024, and I'm going to go up close to Gaza. I'm going to go up to Galilee, get near the Golan Heights where the Syrian is. I haven't really found a place up near Lebanon. I want to go down to the Dead Sea. I'll go to this place, this music festival where the Hamas came over. And I'm using the spiderweb or thing. I have a hub here, and I can make, say, 2-hour trips away, 2-hour trips back. It's a pretty small country, but very difficult because they're really not helping us at all with the language problem. It's very difficult very difficult. The language is 90% of stuff is in Hebrew. And they do this kind of idea, like this Move It app is half in Hebrew, and they're acting like we should be able to use it. I said, it's not in English. But I'm here and you're not. Thank you to the Coffee Bean. Send money. I always like to do that. Become a Patreon if you would like to talk to me in person. You got telephone versions, you got meet you versions, you got different things. Or get on my GoFundMe page for helping me to fund my trip here in Israel. The farther I get away from these major Tel Aviv or Jerusalem, the more expensive the hotels are. I'm here and you're not. Why not? Andy Lee Graham. I've been in 115 countries. Been doing this for 26 years.